Welcome back to another episode of Agents Confidential. Today we'll be talking about a great question. What I'd do differently if I started over. We asked that question to some agents who have built a successful business, and they sent over some great answers. But these agents are going to remain confidential.
Yes, they were submitted in our confessional.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so this first one, Eric, is a really good one. I mean, they're all pretty good. We chose our best ones for this episode. First one is I chased commissions instead of connection. In my early days, I said yes to every opportunity that made me money. Group plans, under 65, life insurance, you name it. But I never stopped to think about the kind of business I actually wanted to build. If I could do it over, I'd niche down sooner and build deeper, not wider. The long-term payoff comes from trust, not quick commissions.
I think there's two trains of thought in getting started. I've always heard cast a wide net, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll catch more in this, example or analogy, fish. Or if you took the time to research the fish you wanted to catch, got the right bait, went to the right location, your odds of catching that fish would go up.
Mm-hmm. I think what you're getting at is you can cast a wider net, but it's not necessarily guaranteed that you're going to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start with what you want and the type of business that you want to create for yourself, then you can start working on those relationships with those specific clients sooner.
Right. And I think like the person said that they should have niched sooner, not meaning from the beginning, right? I only do turning 65 Medicare Advantage plans. That's going very narrow to begin with. All right, let's go to the next one.
Go for it.
I never took time off because I thought I was being noble. I wore burnout like a badge of honor. Look how busy I am. But I was constantly tired, resentful, and my clients' experience suffered. If I could go back, I'd plan rest time like I planned my appointments. A better me equals better business.
I like this one a lot.
We've talked about wellness, and I just think if you're going to work, what are you working so hard for?
Right.
To work harder. I'm not saying not work hard, but give yourself a goal. I'm going to work a ton of hours this week, but next week I'm going to take an afternoon to myself.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, thinking about the year as a whole with AEP being such a time for burnout and working nonstop, you can plan little 5 minutes here and there for taking a minute, resetting. And I mean, I think it also applies to planning vacations throughout the year. So you don't completely burn out, but when you're not in AEP,
plan that January trip.
Plan it. So this next one is I treated referrals like happy accidents. Referrals were my bread and butter, but I didn't build a referral system. I waited and hoped. If I started again, I'd have a real process, how I ask, when I ask, and how I follow up, because referrals are too valuable to leave to chance.
This is an easy one, is to be more intentional about referrals.
And
right?
Structured a little bit more and making sure that you're following up. And I like the treating it like happy accidents.
Yay money! Yay money! Oh, I got a referral. What do we do again? But you should be consistently getting probably at least 5% of the number of clients you have referrals every month. If you're just starting off, that number is going to be a lot lower. But as you build into it, have a process for it.
For sure.
All right, this can be a tough one. I waited too long to fire the wrong clients. Right? So the ones who drain your energy, never listen to your advice, and make you dread picking up the phone. I thought I had to serve everyone, but the truth is bad fit clients cost you more than they pay. If I could go back, I'd protect my peace of mind and my business sooner. There's a great quote, what got you here won't get you to where you want to be. And I've been part of multiple companies where the early on clients, the early adopters, weren't maybe the ideal client, or someone starts off selling, term life insurance to people with newborns that, they don't have any other assets. That's all they can. And it was putting money or putting food on the table for that agent. But now they've moved beyond those types of clients and want to, are working at a higher level. Probably no different with design and marketing.
Oh, yeah. I have been here I've waited too long to fire the wrong clients. Speaking from experience, it drains you so much. And then once you finally get rid of the people and the clients that drain you, even if they're paying you, it's just costing you more because of how stressful it is. And you don't realize really how much it's draining you until you are out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very freeing. It's very nice.
When
you do fire them.
Well, and for our listeners, one great way to, I would say, instead of fire, like offload or shift a client that is no longer in your wheelhouse, is to bring on a junior associate, a staff person, somebody that's getting into the business, saying, hey, I might be giving you some difficult clients to deal with here, for one reason or another, but you've outgrown them. I think it's a great way to build a succession plan for your business or build out an agency. And, I've seen it in the financial planning world where some advisors outgrow the people that they started with. Here you are working with somebody that's, pretty much charging $500 an hour to somebody that doesn't have 500,000 in their account. Like, the math doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So they can pass them on and say, we've added services for you.
Yeah. Or just, refer them to a different agent because maybe they'd be a better fit with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So this next one is pretty good too. These are all really good. I tried to do everything alone and almost burned out. I thought being independent meant I had to be isolated. Didn't reach out, didn't find mentors, didn't build community. I wore doing it all myself like a badge of honor until I almost walked away from the business. If I could go back, I'd find a network and lean in sooner.
I think a lot of people are dealing with this. And some of the first comments that you made, I didn't reach out, didn't find a mentor, didn't build community, are probably the first three things an agent should be doing if they're feeling alone and isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard too from agents, no one will do it like I will, right? No one will service these clients to the ability that I have, which is great confidence.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to make sure that it's repeatable, and what they say, delegate what you can so you can take on more. You don't have to touch every single part of your business all the time.
Yeah. I think delegation is part of that, but if you're starting out and you're an independent agent, finding a group of other agents that you can network with, and be a part of a community, even if you are still an independent agent working solely on your business, it can help a lot to have a network of people. So I'm going to shamelessly plug our Facebook group. If you want to join that, there's lots of people in there, so you don't have to be alone.
And it's a great place to ask questions and get multiple people looking at it. We have agents, carrier reps, our staff is on it.
Yeah.
Really just a helpful spot.
Mm-hmm.
I built systems too late. It's kind of like planting a tree. Do you know the best time to plant a tree?
No.
30 years ago. You know the second best time?
Right now.
Today. You got it. So built systems too late. For years, my CRM was a stack of sticky notes. Oh my goodness. I had no email templates, no onboarding process, nothing repeatable. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I had more clients than I could handle that I realized if it's not documented, it's not scalable. Now systems are the only reason I can breathe during AEP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It is never too early to start building systems for yourself.
I have found that most agents get started, they're drinking from the fire hose, everything, and now we got to start making money. And it's like, oh, but I only have one client right now. So why do I have to have this system?
Do you want more clients?
Yeah, I would.
Is what I would ask them.
Yeah, exactly. And or I would challenge, like, again, everybody comes from a different perspective. Some people are working in a full-time job and trying to start becoming an agent.
Totally.
So they don't know if they're even going to be in this business
Yeah.
in the future. So I get, but at that, like that sign of success, like, holy cow, I've gotten my third application in a week. I've broken this, set some targets for yourself. I break this dollar amount that I've actually made. I'm going to reinvest a percentage of it back into my business to be doing this again early on as a higher percentage. Where you say, I am really going to be doing this and I foresee myself doing this long term, you better get a system in place very, very soon.
Yep, totally. This next one, I ignored marketing because I thought I didn't need it. I relied on word of mouth and renewals, which worked until it didn't. New agents with cleaner branding and stronger online presence started getting the calls I used to get. If I started over, I'd treat my brand and marketing like assets, not afterthoughts.
Yeah, this is a very important one. I always ask people if they've ever heard of Coca-Cola, and they laugh and
That is your go-to.
and think I'm weird as I'm drinking a can of it. Coca-Cola is not officially a sponsor of the podcast, but they might want to be after this. And everybody says, of course I've heard of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
It's etched in our brains because we've literally seen it thousands of times, hundreds of commercials, multiple times, over and over and over again. Also, I feel more than ever, and it'll continue to go on this trend, is information is much more easily shared now, and news travels much faster than it does through old methods.
Totally.
I've worked with business owners that said their advertising was turning the open sign on in the window. So everybody knew they were open. Well, 20, 30 years ago, maybe they were the only show in town.
Yeah.
And if you wanted that service, you just needed to know if they were open or not. Now we have clients working with other agents that they've never met. They've never spoken to, even on the telephone. They're trading emails or text messages and getting their needs filled quickly. People shop on Amazon because they have inexpensive products and fast delivery.
Yeah.
That's what the people want.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they asked, they would also want that with their insurance provider.
I mean, I know that we've talked about branding and how it really is how your business feels to your people. So it starts with the customer experience and client experience. And I think that when it comes to Medicare, your marketing is going to look different because it is still kind of old-timey in the way that it comes up in conversation, and people are talking about Medicare at like dinners or church or whatever it is. And people say, oh, who do you go to? And, oh, I love my agent. Here's their name. And it starts with the client experience and how you help them and how quickly you respond. So it also relies on your systems. But branding and marketing really are assets because they'll pay you back long term. And don't wait. Don't wait to think on those and establish those.
I think too, if you're not marketing to your client, everybody else probably is.
And if you're not marketing, you are invisible.
Yeah.
So.
And you can kind of be forgotten, out of sight, out of mind. I think we've got one more.
Yeah. Yep. One more. So this last one, I undervalued what I knew. I used to assume everyone else knew what I knew. I didn't create resources, teach, or offer guidance beyond the basics. I didn't realize my common sense could be someone else's breakthrough, and I missed opportunities to become a true authority. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. We just talk about, and as you've come into this industry, we've talked about all of the acronyms and how you can call the same thing 3 different names.
Yeah.
It's
confusing.
It is very confusing. And I feel the entity that can explain and help people understand is going to tend to get the business, and saying, this other company was flashy and they, we get a discount at all these other places or whatever bells and whistles they're throwing. But every time they ask them a question, they don't know the answer, or they have to, we'll get back to you on that. Having the info at hand and knowing it.
Yeah. And what as an agent is valuable. It's why people work with you. if all your clients knew that information, they wouldn't have to reach out to you and work with you anyway. So don't assume that all of your clients know exactly what you're talking about, and create resources accordingly.
I think it's good too to ask people, instead of, we say, like brain dumping on someone, like, I'm going to show these people how much I know and go through all these things. Like,
Yeah.
we've talked about like having a menu or a checklist and saying, here's a number of items. Take a minute to look through it, Mr. and Mrs. Client or prospects, and saying, I know a lot of information in these areas. Are there any you'd like me to talk about more in depth?
Mm-hmm.
If they say all of them, it's going to be a longer appointment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if they're like, no, we feel really comfortable with this, we're just wondering about, all these things that are going on with prescriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you help us with that? Absolutely. And you can
Yeah.
do a deep dive
Yep.
into those areas. I would make a further point in that, since I have the mic and I'll just keep talking, is it's a great way to show people or let them know the other services that you provide outside of what you're working with them on currently. So if it's, a Medicare policy, that you also do life insurance, you do college planning and investing, you help retirees safeguard their money in annuities, or however you want to verbalize that, and or show that, giving them a pamphlet of the other things you do. It may spark for referrals. It may also remind them, oh yeah, we need to do something with that. And our current agent can help us.
Yep. I think it helps you with your branding too, because it positions you as a resource for your clients and helps you to build trust with them. And also, as a reminder, keep learning. Keep learning new things.
Hopefully people are feeling like they're learning some things or being reminded of some things by listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I have kind of an overall takeaway of this, which I really enjoyed reading through these. Please continue to submit your confessionals. I think prompting them with a question really worked well. But what I find more than anything is that we're all running the same race, and we all have either go through very similar challenges and come out on the other side, or either we've tackled some of the same ones or they are still yet to come. And I love having a community of agents like this that are participating and, not knowing exactly who it may help, which is, I think, why we do this podcast, but knowing that it will be helpful. Yeah, I really just wanted to thank everybody for putting in their confessions, and glad we kept it anonymous. I know.
I like this. I like this one. So if you have something that you would like to share, or even your own answer to this question of what do you wish that you knew sooner, please share it in our confessional.
Just want to take a moment and say thank you again for clicking play.
If you got anything from this episode, make sure to subscribe and tell your friends, and we'll get you on the next one.